Hello students, welcome to today's class. So we are all familiar with the word sound. Let us listen few sounds. What is sound? Sound is a form of energy which produces in us the sensation of hearing. Sound is a form of energy which produces in us the sensation of hearing. And how is sound produced? Sound is produced by the vibration of the body. When a body vibrates, sound is produced. Sound is produced only due to the vibration. So without the vibration of the body, sound cannot be produced. Now some of the terms related with the vibration. So amplitude. Amplitude is the maximum displacement of a vibrating particle from its mean position. Then time period. So time period is the time taken for a vibrating body to time period is the time taken by a particle to complete one vibration. That is called time period. Then frequency. So frequency is the number of vibrations produced by the particles in 1 second. Number of vibrations produced by the particle in 1 second. That is the frequency. Then wavelength. So wavelength is the distance traveled by a wave in one time period. Then there is a relationship between wave velocity, frequency and wavelength. The frequency F, wavelength is represented by lambda. So this is the relationship between wave velocity, frequency and wavelength. Also there is a relation between time period and frequency. Time period is equal to 1 upon frequency. So these are formula. So we can hear sound of frequency from 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz. So sound of frequency 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz is audible to the human ear. That is called range of audibility. Range of audibility. Range of audibility is from 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz. So this is the range of audibility of a human ear. This is also range of sound is also called sonic vibrations. Sonic vibration. Sonic vibration means the vibrations of frequency from 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz. So this in this range, the sound is audible to the human ear, normal human ear. Sound of frequency less than 20 hertz is called infrasonic. Sound of frequency less than 20 hertz is called infrasonic. And the sound of frequency above 20,000 hertz is called ultrasonic. So normal human ear cannot hear infrasonics and ultrasonics. A normal human ear can hear sound of frequency from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So sound needs a material medium to propagate. Sound cannot propagate without a material medium. So the waves which require a material medium to propagate, they are known as mechanical waves. So sound is a mechanical wave or elastic wave. Mechanical wave. Mechanical waves or elastic waves. The waves which require a material medium to propagate or to travel is known as mechanical wave. Sound is a mechanical wave because sound requires a material medium to propagate. And the waves which do not require a material medium to propagate, they are known as electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic. So electromagnetic waves are the waves which do not require a material medium to propagate. Sound is mechanical wave because it requires a material medium to propagate. Sound travels in the form of longitudinal waves. Longitudinal. So in the case of a longitudinal wave, means suppose at a spring, if you press a spring, the volume of the spring will decrease. Volume of the spring will decrease. That region is called compression, and the pressure inside will increase. So that is known as compression. And when this force is removed, it will regain, it will elongate, and the volume will increase and pressure will decrease. That region is called rarefaction. In the case of a longitudinal wave, the particles of the medium vibrate in the direction of propagation. In the direction of propagation of the wave. So when I talk, you can imagine these are particles. So when I talk, these are the surrounding air particles are there. So air particles are there. So these air particles will come to the state of vibration. And that vibration will transfer from particle to particle. This vibration will transfer from particle to particle. Energy will transfer from particle to particle, and this sound will propagate. And this propagation that will take place in all the directions. In all directions, this sound will be propagated. In all directions, that vibration is transferred. So, in order to understand what is longitudinal wave, you take these are all particles. So when I talk, this you imagine these are air particles. So this when I talk, this air particle will come to the state of vibration. Then on vibration, it will make the next particle to vibrate, and the next particle will vibrate the next particle, and the next will vibrate this particle. After making the nearer particle to vibrate, due to elasticity, this particle will come back to the original position. So here what is the direction of propagation of the wave? The direction of propagation of the wave is this way. This is the direction of the propagation. This way the direction of propagation. And how does this particle vibrate? The particles are vibrating in this way. Particles vibrate in this direction. Or we can say that in longitudinal wave, the particles vibrate in the direction of propagation of the wave. The particles of the medium vibrate in the direction of propagation of the wave. So this vibration takes place throughout the air, and the sound will reach to our ear. So this way that sound is reaching to our ear. So sound propagates in the form of longitudinal wave. In the case of longitudinal wave, the particles of the medium vibrate in the direction of propagation. In this case, this is the direction of propagation of the wave. This is the direction of propagation of the wave. And the particles are vibrating in the direction of propagation of the wave. So that type of vibration is called longitudinal wave. So sound wave is longitudinal in nature. But in the case of another type of wave is transverse wave. Transverse. In case of transverse wave, suppose that you take a rope, and one end of the rope is tied here. Suppose a rope is there and one end of the rope is tied here, and the other end is free. Then you make the free end to vibrate. Then when you make it, it will move. This rope will move like this. So one end or they are tied, and I make this rope to vibrate at the other end. Then that rope will move like this. So what is the direction of propagation of the wave? This is the direction of propagation of the wave. This is the direction of propagation of the wave. And how does the particle vibrate? Particle vibrate like this. Particles vibrate like this. So this is the direction of propagation. And how does this particle vibrate? These particles vibrate perpendicular to the direction of propagation. This type of wave formation is called transverse wave. In transverse wave, the particles of the medium vibrate perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave. So this direction of propagation, and the particles vibrate like this, perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave. That is transverse wave. So we are seeing about sound. So some of the difference between sound and light. Sound Sound is a mechanical wave. And light is electromagnetic wave. Sound is a mechanical wave and light is a electromagnetic wave. Sound cannot propagate through vacuum, but light can propagate through vacuum. Sound is longitudinal in nature, and light is transverse in nature. Then the speed of sound in air is approximately 340 meter per second. 340 meter per second. And the speed of light in air is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So these are some of the difference between sound and light. The speed of light is much more than the speed of sound. Speed of light is much more than the speed of sound. That is why when there is a thunder and lightning, first of all we see the flash, later we hear the sound. The reason is that The speed of light is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second in air, and the speed of sound in air is 330 or 340 meter per second. The speed of light is much more than the speed of sound. That is why when there is thunder and lightning, first we see the flash, later we hear the sound. So then, when we look on a mirror, we are able to see our image. What is the reason? That is due to reflection of light. The same way, this one sound also, when it strikes on a surface, the sound also comes back, returns back after striking the surface. That phenomenon is known as reflection of sound. The returning of sound back to the same medium on striking a surface, that is called reflection of sound. And in reflection of sound, it will also obey the laws of reflection, that is, incident ray, reflected ray and the normal all lie on the same plane, and the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. All the laws of reflection will be obeyed in the case of sound also. Now we see another phenomenon. So if a person stands at a certain distance from a hill and produce a sound, for example, a person stands at some distance from a hill and say the word Sony loudly, then that word will be repeated. Sony, 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 Sony. That's this way that sound is repeated. That is the echo. One sound is original sound. After that, whatever we hear, that is the echo. Echo is the sound heard after reflection, when after the original sound is ceased. That is called echo. So we produce a sound, then that sound goes and strike, then again and again, when the original sound is stopped, that sound is repeated, which is known as echo. Echo is the sound heard after reflection from a surface after the original sound is ceased. That is called echo. In this case, so saying the word Sony, the one sound which we hear is the original sound. After that, that word is repeated. Sony, 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 Sony. That is the echo. Then, how do we calculate the formula to find the speed of sound by echo? Suppose that this is an obstacle. This is a rigid obstacle, and this is a source of sound. So here this man, he is the source of sound. Then he produces a sound. The distance between this obstacle and the source, this is source and this is the obstacle or the reflector. This is the source and this is the reflector. The distance between source and the reflector is taken as d meter. The distance between source and the reflector is taken as d meter. So he produces a sound, then this sound goes and strikes on the obstacle and then comes back. Then he will hear the sound. So what is the total distance travelled by the sound? The total distance travelled by the sound is d plus d. D from here to here and d from here to here. The source and receiver is same. So total distance travelled by the sound is 2d meter. And how much time taken for going and coming back? That is noted. That is t. Time taken is t. Then speed is equal to total distance traveled divided by time taken. So speed is equal to total distance travel. Total distance travel means from here to here and then from here to here. So that is the total distance travel. So if the distance between source and the reflector is d meter, then total distance traveled is 2d meter. And here he produces a sound, then after some time he hears the sound. That is the time interval. The time interval means the time between producing sound and listening sound. That is the time taken. So speed is equal to total distance traveled upon time taken. That is equal to v. Then the formula of speed is total distance traveled upon time taken. Then on substituting we will get v is equal to 2d upon t. V is equal to 2d divided by t. When we listen a sound, the effect of that sound remains in our ear for 0.1 second more. When we listen a sound, the effect of that sound will remain in our ear for 0.1 second more, which is called persistence of hearing. Persistence of hearing. In the case of a human ear, the persistence of hearing is 0.1 second. So, when we listen a sound, after 0.1 second only we will be able to hear the next sound. In a small room, when we make sound, that sound is reflected, but we are not able to hear the echo because that sound will be reflected back to our ear within 0.1 second. That is why we are not able to hear the echo in a small room. So, what minimum distance is required to hear? What minimum distance is required to hear an echo? So the speed of sound in air is 340 meter per second. So we use this formula V is equal to 2d upon t. In that we substitute 340 meter per second equal to 2d upon. The persistence of hearing is 0.1 second. T is equal to 0.1 second. Then we substitute 2d is equal to 340 in meter per second into 0.1 second. Second cancel. 340 into 0.1 is 34. 2d is equal to 34 meter. So d is equal to 34 divided by 2 is equal to 17 meter. In order to hear an echo, the minimum distance, in order to hear an echo, the minimum distance between, in order to hear an echo, the minimum distance between the source and the reflector must be at least 17 meter. So in a big hole we are able to hear the echo because its length is more than 17 meter. But in a small room we are not able to hear the echo because the length of a small room is less than 17 meter. So a minimum length of 17 meter. This is the main condition required to hear the echo. The minimum distance required is 17 meter. So that length is required. In a big hole we are able to hear the echo because the length of the hole is more than 17 meter. But in small room we are not able to hear because its length is less than 17 meter. And the other condition. So these are the condition. First, the length of the distance must be at least 17 meter. Then second condition, the size of the reflector. The size of the reflector must be more than the wavelength of sound. The size of the reflector must be more than the wavelength of the sound. And the third condition is the intensity of the sound should be quite high. So you have to make a loud sound. Suppose that if you make sound Sony very loudly, near a hill or in a hall, you will be able to hear the echo. But if you make that same word with less intensity, suppose that you stand near or some distance away from a hill and make the word Sony very softly, then you will not be able to hear the echo. The intensity of the sound should be quite high, then only you will be able to hear the echo. These are the three conditions necessary to hear the echo. The distance should be at least 17 meter. The size of the reflector must be more than the wavelength of sound, and the intensity of the sound should be quite high. These conditions are necessary. Next class we will continue this topic.